Alright, hello everybody, this is Demon coming back for another round of Final Fantasy XIV's Endwalker. So, this will be the intro that I'm using for it for a while, guys, just because I'm probably going to be playing this straight and probably won't have time to do intros and outros. So, I hope everybody here enjoys, and thank you for watching this, and let's go ahead and start it right up. Alright, hello everybody, this is Demon coming back for a brand new round of FF14. So, we ended the last episode, well, doing the Dome missions, but taking the break for one day to do some of those Dome missions. We left the MSQ, but more importantly, what we ended it with was us coming back from the first, more importantly, the past, coming back to the present, or the future, whatever you want to consider it, and then deal with fighting some enemies as Alizé and Alphanel. I'll say this much, the Sage one was pretty cool. Alizé's was alright. But I think I would rather, I think if I had a choice between, like, if I ever had to do a healer class or I ever decided, I probably would do the Sage missions, because they seem really cool. But I believe we already talked to everybody here, because I ended the episode doing that, so let's go ahead and talk to Alza. See Xena standing there, so uncaring and unrepentant. Gods, I don't know what came over me. I just blurted out the first thing that came to my mind, but looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I would hope that they won't incite him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about that. It's good to see you again. Yay, I'm back. Alright, new weapon. Alright, getting rid of the old one. Actually, I think this was one of the ones I actually did like. Yeah, I do like this one. This one was neat. I'm keeping that. I'll have to remember to go through and mess with that. We still need to quiz you about your first time on the about your time on the first, if we ever get more than a moment's respite. Alright, so we gotta talk to... Oh, god damn it. I accidentally hit him. Do that.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
Thanks, Euless.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives.
Damn,
Not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Forchano Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much.
My only question is, how do they assume that if they go on the moon that they're not going to end up doing the same exact stuff they're dealing with now?
You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
You just kicked ass. You get to stay in.
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
Yep, you get to keep them.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuneau. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Garlean alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
Oh, he's gonna embark upon a scheme, but what it will do, God only knows.
I swear.
Any other I would doubt, but you I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks. Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait.
Oh, this message is gonna get real. What the hell?
Did you hear something just now?
I wish my character's ears could do that. No. What the hell? Creepy bunny. Zombie bunnies! Zombie bunnies!
Where is this star's blasted pudding?
God damn it, Pudding Way.
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort.
What did you do to make that one say that, Eorzean? Jesus.
Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable guards.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Etheris. Eorzean made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvellous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Eorzean's inferior works no more.
Should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Hydaelyn's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it? Not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Eorzeans made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
Forgive me, but are they...
Bunnies.
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow, well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Hydaelyn's right paw. That last bit is very important. As am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Garlean, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loporrits made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart.
Good haveth you back. May thy disciples banish this darkest of nights. Oh my god, we're calling them all his disciples.
For a time, at least. Nevertheless, 'twas worth the journey to find present company well. Wilt thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
If that's all quite settled, can we start moving before Eorzeans catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Nah, this is fun. Let him
I dare
freeze.
say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
The zombie's still moving. Double tap it. Wait a minute. Is this a current? I just kinda wanna look at this real quick. Said I've jotted down everything I've heard about the mission reference around this offer. Question notes. Yourself. Oh, that's a sightseeing log person. Oh. I haven't bothered to ever do this. Today said Master Fortunaut was nonplussed as we to learn the identity of Hydaelyn's lunar custodians, as he will soon discover they have much and more to offer for him. I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith. You may have yet time to discuss thy recent adventures ere we are summoned to the Rostra. Oh, dude, I am playing this all day. I'm gonna have the time of my goddamn life playing this game. This is a good day for me. I'm off. I have nothing going on. The only thing I actually have to do last for like Christmas stuff is just get cards. Put the gifts I have in there since it's just money and gift cards. My brother's got the other stuff up at his place, so when we do our Christmas on Christmas Eve, it's set to go. So probably Christmas Day, I don't think I'm going to be doing very much besides just probably playing this again. Because I doubt there's going to be too many people playing. Although I did see some of the most recent stuff where they're doing the... they do have the Christmas event going on right now. I'm planning on going to do that at some point. I don't know if I'm going to do it today or not. Maybe I will do it later. I know if I see Red, I always try to tell Red to get on, because now I seen somebody who I follow on YouTube. He made an update saying that now they're giving us another 2 weeks, 14 total days of extra or free playtime. That's 21 whole days. That's almost a whole month. It's 2/3 of the month, dude. That is amazing. I love frickin' Yoshi P. He gives us he spoils everybody with these games. And they suspended any more purchases for this, so it's insane right now. Not just the expansion, but all the game for this. Starters and collectors. Oof. Not that I'm complaining, Eorzeans, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Aetherius, I did inadvertently awaken in the Loporrit a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Cryle tells us you have attained new knowledge and may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I've news to share regarding our study theory, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. Dwarven relations at Hydaelyn's Elpis flower lead. Ooh, this is gonna be amazing. I hope Emmett comes back towards the end of the fight, because I know we're gonna do a last boss fight. I hope Emmett comes back. That'd be cool. I'd love to see Emmett again. Then this dynamis is what drives the final days. If it is Akasa or one and the same, that this all but proves Nahana's theory. Or an entity through sheer force of emotion to channel this vast dormant reservoir into a raging river, its power might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of the great expanse. Meteion, or rather the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of Aetherius. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Meteion. Stinian's gonna whoop her ass. You make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Meteion and we deliver the world from the final days, but to even attempt it there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Meteion escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Venat, the woman who would become Hydaelyn. The application of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Hydaelyn and the Venat you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Hydaelyn possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she will share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Aetherius, not to stay. No, you heard her. Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Meteion? The Venat I know would never give up, no, but Meteion is still out there. The Venat I know would never give up. She wouldn't. This is my impression too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will or provided clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answers to Hermes' question. So what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Meteion. Natural or chosen method will depend entirely upon whoever she has made her nest. Edge of the universe. Then communing with Hydaelyn must by necessity come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation to the Ethereal Sea? Sadly not, though we enlisted the help of Arnvold and our Echo-blessed allies, we cannot detect so much as a whisper from Hydaelyn, even from the Anti-Tower. Master Matoya is undependent, and in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn. If so, it must likely be in the form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea, built closer to home. Sorry to interrupt, we just received word from the Forum. Your presence arrived in Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Then Father was able to persuade them. We're finally taking us seriously, let's hear what they have to say. It was Hydaelyn's commandment that in the event of the Zodiac should perish, the Loporrit were to deliver the people of Eorzea from harm. Though that be the limit of their duties, he possessed knowledge of unparalleled the great expanse and means of its traversal. Should they be sprayed to assist our efforts to reach Meteon, we would do well to heed their counsel. Why not just use the moon, get slingshotted, go up, kick our ass, come back? At first, I wasn't sure what to think of Hermes and his motives, but it's like we discussed at the Great Work. When faced with the harsh realities of life, some seek the release of death, others grow defiant, they fight. Either way, it's our right to choose. Well, that was a much quicker response than I was expecting. Nice to know our efforts on the Magna Glacius didn't go unnoticed. Father has granted us the opportunity we've been waiting for. Though we know not what the information, if any, they intend to reveal, there's only one way to find out, to the Rostra. Personally, I just want them to tell us how they communicate with Hydaelyn. Hope you don't mind me staying behind while you attend your big meeting. Rostra reminds me a bit too much of the Supremacy Scary Tribunal in Ishgard, but forgive me if I keep my distance. After you left for Garlean, I went to Labyrinthos and tried to reach Hydaelyn using the Elpis flowers. Alas, my attempts were in vain. I can only assume that she spent a vast amount of her power in the confrontation with Fandaniel and is presently unable to communicate. Indeed, as her presence left my body, I could feel how faint it had grown. Master Pretorius suspected for some time that the Forum has been constructing a new facility for the purpose of surveying the Ethereal Sea. Of course, as the custodian of Antitower, which would presumably be rendered obsolete as a result, she's had a few things to say about that. Nothing that should be repeated in a polite company, you understand. Oh, I want to know what she said. That'd be great. Make the Crystal Tower the first is capable of such feats, descending one's soul into the distant past. The event you witnessed and helped shape may hold the key to foreseeing the final days. I'm reminded of dear friends in a future I unmade, whose selfless efforts saw the Seventh Umbral Calamity averted. In this timeline, at least too much has been sacrificed for us to abandon Etheirys now, well, especially for you, Graha. After sending Graha and his name back to Garlean, I stayed in Locus and Monas. For a time, being an imperial province, it was already in turmoil before the onset of the final days. You wouldn't believe the difficulties we had overseeing the evacuation of villages we visited. I have faith that the detachment left behind will continue our work and shepherd the people to safety. To what safety can be found in a world coming to an end? That's what I said. I'm not shocked that the timelines are interspliced with each other, because why wouldn't they be at this point? Which means Emmett's probably stirring in his little pot inside the Ethereal Sea, and he's probably getting ready to go kick Meteon's ass. That's what I was thinking about when I had to cut that other episode at the end. I was sitting there thinking, I was dumbfounded, couldn't speak, but in the back of my head I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh my god, if they let Emmett come back, he's gonna freaking kill her. Well, no, first he's gonna beat the crap out of Hermes, then he's gonna go kill her. Hermes is his first target. But, that's all I said. This game's goddamn fantastic. Hopefully they teach us how they speak with Hydaelyn, because we need to know now, because if we don't, it's not gonna end well. Oh yeah, and if anybody's curious, I finally switched out the one ring, got the CCO's ring, and now I am at level 537. I'm very happy. Forum is in session, and as such, the Rostra is closed to visitors. No, I'm supposed to call me in. Sound of 7th Dawn, very well. You may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on condition you leave your armaments at the door, lest you forget the sacred institution holds rational discourse and the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. Wait a minute, I have an important question to ask. You're saying this, right? But the last time we came in here, we had our weapons, I think. Oh, I care what you have to say. I get to keep my weapons. I don't even have my weapon on me. You don't see it. See? Pog. And poggers. Hey, look, another player. I wonder how packed this place was the first night. Telling you, dude, people played this religiously that day. They probably were like reading fast through their head, and then they're gonna replay it. Like they're doing like they do what I would do, which is like a skim run, and then you go back and play again, and then that's when you really pay attention to stuff. Fly through it, then play.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far. Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glacies. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzadhan. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Garlean has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Garlean citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzadhan was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
Oof.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This arc, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Well, under that logic, even then, even if you keep messing with it, you have to get it done sooner, because even if you get it to the optimal speed, at that point the optimal speed is no longer able to be attained. Eventually it just becomes a fight against... it's a fight against just that.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
"'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and he would never have abandoned the anti-tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms? "71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it. Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum."
Lol.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
I'm a little vexed, but that we yet to learn the Forum's replacement for the Anti-Tower, though I expect that in time. They'll share that too with us and with Master Victoria if they have any sense. Oh god, they better tell her. She'll come down here like a freaking storm. You let me bring up the issue of the Forum's incomplete arc was more than a little daunting. They were, to get to their credit, quite open about the current state of affairs. What was even more surprising, though, was that when they took Alphino up on his offer. While I very much take the issue of Forum's approach to selecting whom to save and when, they're not wrong for wanting to minimize potential conflicts. Fortunately, if this display of our actually works, the Great Exodus itself will become entirely unnecessary. Further we pursue the mysteries of the universe, the more I struggle to comprehend the fortuitous nature of time itself. We measure and quantify it based on observed celestial bodies, such as sun and moon, but from your account it's unclear whether the ancients viewed it in a similar manner. I mention this because Venant knew the final days would reoccur at a defined point in the future. She really had no way of knowing exactly when. Even so, the completion of the Forum's preparations to escape the moon, aligning so closely with the advent of the final days, is so surely no coincidence. Perhaps if Midgar Soma were still alive in a traditional sense, that is, he could offer to help the vessel attain the necessary speeds. Then again, there's no guarantees contribution will make enough of a difference. Oh god, to matter. And late I've seen no sign of the Loporrit. This being the first opportunity to experience the wonders of Charlie, and the potential for misadventure is nigh and infinite. Oh god. It'll be a war zone. Affinity for Ashmad may have earned me the title of Archon, but I was completely unaware of the Forum's plans. There may have been clues here and there, but had I been of a mind to look for them, but contemplating that possibility only serves to further wound my pride. Not that anyone could have realistically surmised that the brilliant stratagem was to build a giant ship, fly to the moon, a still larger vessel in truth, and use to travel there to another star. Even now, the whole idea seems positively absurd when spoken aloud. Well, actually, that's a good question. What stars would they even be looking to go to? Because, in theory, they could go to a star that the Meteons went to and it's already dead. Rest assured I have every intention of honoring the Forum's decision. Alright, so guys, with that, for the first time in a very long time, I have actually been able to end close to a 30-minute episode. Last episode did end at ended at like 20-something, 28 minutes, but adding the outro gets me over 30. This one, again, the outro is going to take a little bit longer, but still, nonetheless, 30-minute episode. Very happy about this. Hopefully I can keep doing this. Unless I get into a part of the story where I just feel like I can't quit, which is highly likely when playing this game. So, learning the Forum's plans, stuff going on, should be very interesting. Hopefully I would love to speak to Hydaelyn, because I want to see what's going to go on. But beyond that point, my only concern is this. Say hello to Past Demon as he gives you the outro, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright everybody, this is Demon telling you goodbye. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode of Endwalker. Again, I probably won't get too lucky and have too many like openings because there's going to be so many people playing Endwalker, so I'm doing a custom little outro for it this time around. So as I always sit there and say, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys then. Thanks.